Okay, I'm excited.
Me too.
Seriously. So my podcast episodes, I mainly want to feature people that own businesses.
Yeah.
I want it to follow, a certain topic every time. You've been an entrepreneur like most of your life. So I'm super excited to find out how you got there, what you're doing now. I know a little bit, but tell everybody about what you're doing now.
Well, I actually own Just Be Beauty, and it is just honestly a collective of the last 20 years of experience that I've had in the beauty industry. I've really scaled it back to basics after the pandemic. That's where it was created. It kind of came out of almost like a desperation, I feel like, because I don't think we all took any time to really realize how much we invest in our hair during that time, how often we go get our hair done during that time, and just how much of a difference there is when you let your roots grow and don't get your hair done routinely. So I tried to create something where it kind of scaled it back to the basics. We took it back to more natural tones, things that are easily blendable, that can that suit your natural hair color. And so right now I rent a space and I work for myself and by myself, and I love it that way. And this has honestly been the most calm and I would say stable part of the entrepreneurship journey that I've ever experienced. So,
Yeah. So when did you find out that you're like super good at hair? Like, have you done this since high school? Like, tell me a little bit
So I
about...
used to do everybody's color. Me and my girlfriends kind of experimented with color in hair in high school. I started just highlights. I was doing I honestly would see something and just kind of want to practice it or do it. And I did it my own little way. So yeah, we were doing all funky colors in high school, and me and the girls I ran around with, we did each other's hair, and then it just kind of naturally progressed from there.
Yeah. So the pandemic was the first time you did hair? I thought you did it before that.
No. The pandemic was the first time. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off track there.
No, I probably heard wrong.
Let me start over.
So when was the first time you did hair?
Oh, the first time I ever did hair would have to be high school. Yeah.
So you've been doing this forever.
And I didn't have a license then, but we were doing hair.
Yeah. And then it got serious.
Pandemic. It did. So no, I backtrack there. I got licensed in 2006 or 2007 is when I went to hair school, and then got licensed in 2008.
Oh, dang.
Actually. Yeah.
Dang.
So I had been doing hair for a while. Just on the side as I do my own hair, but nothing, I didn't have like a serious clientele until I went to hair school.
Yeah, for sure. So you realize you're good at it? Or like, what do you like about it? Is it the talk?
Yeah, my husband asked me that the other day. I like the connecting with people one-on-one. I like the creativity to it. I like that I can change people's lives in one day. Like the services I offer, I can offer someone a complete life change in one day, and they see themselves differently, and their confidence is restored. That's probably my favorite part about what I do, for sure.
Yeah, I know you're good at it, not just because you're sitting here and I have to tell you you're good at it. I know you're good at it because Lauren always tells me. And she'd be like, man, she's so damn expensive, but I have to go to her because it's so good. But that's how you do it. Like, if you're confident in what you do, you've got to charge what your worth is, right?
Agreed.
And somebody that, as I've gotten into business, I've always looked up to you because you've always been an entrepreneur. Like, I've always looked at you as that, whether you were or not. You've always been like that older sister to me. Even in high school, like, I just remember being in high school. You're the popular one. I was like in between some groups, and but I was always accepted by Amanda Service. I'm like, yeah, man, get me into some parties, But so I've always looked up, and I even remember being, I think it was like 2011, 2010, when I probably didn't have the best friend group. I was trying to figure out my way, and then I put a lot of stuff online. A lot of people are guilty of that, but I put too much stuff. And I remember you messaging me, you did not have to do this. You messaged me like, you need to calm down online. Like, people will respect you. And I don't remember what was said, but it was something along the lines of, you need to think about what you put online. And I was just like, man, that's You're right. I don't like that you're saying this to me right now, but you're right.
I don't remember that at all.
I do.
And I should have probably taken my own advice later on.
I mean, we all do, but the fact that you did that, you didn't just get on the social media platform and like blast or like, hey, you like privately, like, hey, little brother, like, chill out. And I always respected that because,
thank you.
yeah, I even had my sister back in the day when I remember I had a falling out with my old boss. And in my mind, I'm like, listen, I'm not going to let anybody take advantage of me. And I felt I was getting taken advantage of. With an immature mind, I wanted to blast him all over Facebook. I wanted to get Channel 8 News involved. Like, when I'm like hell-bent on something, I want to make sure I win. And, I was just blasting what we were going through, our dirty laundry, me and my old boss online. And in hindsight, whether it was right or wrong what he did, it was wrong for me to react that way because we only have control over how we respond. And I remember my sister told me, she's like, Dave, you got to quit doing that stuff. And I'm like, nah, fuck that, fuck him. But she said, if you ever want to be of someone important in the world, it's about reputation and what people think. And some people will say, well, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. To an extent, that's true. But if you want to be somebody that people in the community trust, you've got to have a good reputation, right? I mean, nobody's perfect, but you want to make sure what you put out there is respectable. Even if you have dirty laundry, hide it. And I just always remember you saying what you said to me privately, my sister telling me that. So I've always looked at you as an older sister. I've never told you that, but here we are.
I have looked at you as a little brother too, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it works. But you've always had that entrepreneurial mindset, is that right? I mean, tell me a little bit about how you grew up, and did you always want to own a business?
Yeah, I always did want to own a business. I remember in elementary school having lots of ideas and I actually got in trouble for having a business when I was about third grade, I think. I developed a jewelry business and it was a custom jewelry business. I brought my beads and everything. It was called Beads for Needs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I donated a portion to my church. I think it was my church homeless, or the church unhoused, organization they had going on there. I think there was like a soup kitchen or something. Yeah. So that was the whole thing. And then I would sit there and they'd pick out their beads and I'd make them. And I think that lasted all of about 2 or 3 days. And I got in trouble and my mom got a phone call. So yeah, and I do feel like that entrepreneurial spirit of mine has always kind of been, I feel like there's just always been a little pushback on it too.
Like from what?
Just, I would say, I feel like I've had to start over a lot with, like I've taken a lot of risks and I've started over and I've started over and I've started over, you know what I mean? So there's just been a lot in mine where I've done things wrong and I started over and I changed it, so it's just, I finally feel like there hasn't been that in the last several years, but I've also really kind of taken my marketing and approach back home to networking and making real connections with people, and not, since we were talking about online, not so much online anymore.
In person
in
or
person, what? Yeah. I've been trying to do more in person, more referrals, more word of mouth. Actually, the last probably 4 years since I've been back on my own. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember back in 2018 when you came into Perfected Bodies and you were telling me about like the funnel system online and things that you had learned and I haven't learned. And even to this day, I think about it because you're right. Like, it's all about consultations and getting people in front of you. And I've always, with my business, I've always struggled getting, I want my business to grow fast, but
you don't.
But you don't. But I've always got 10, 15, new clients a month, sometimes 5. And you're always like, I remember you came in, you need to be getting 50, 60. I love that because it pushes me. And everything you talked about, creating a funnel online, all that stuff, I kind of use today.
Yeah, I've seen you do it now.
And I don't, it's not nearly as good as what you would say because I still don't get a lot of it.
Oh, I do agree. I think your marketing's on point.
It's better. It definitely is better. But I'm I think about the stuff you were saying in 2018. I'm like, man, even today that's helped me. And even today I need to be better. Like I need to really, like I've went to a business coach, a couple of different ones, and one of them, he sold tons of businesses, so he's a lot of money per hour. And I went to him, and he was teaching me the stuff you're telling me, and he was like, you got to create, contact list, lead or prospect list, and I do that today. I still don't do it to a T, but you got to have that because it adds value to your company. If what I try to do is I try to have every week I try to build up my company to where one day I can sell it, even if I never do.
Right.
And if I think that, it's like, okay, I'm going to tighten up all the systems, processes, create it like a Chick-fil-A or McDonald's where it's in a tight little big package, and it's just like, here, it's all set up for your success to grow it.
Yeah.
The value of it's going to be bigger, and that comes with what you said, a funnel, a contact list, creating email campaigns. So all that stuff I think is fun, but it all kind of started like back when you first told me, and I'm like, I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, so tell me, I want to talk about childhood just because who was your mom or your dad? Were they a business owner? Or where do you get that from?
No, I don't know. Because none of the women in my family own businesses. I'm really the first in my family to really do that, go out on my own.
But you're a strong personality like your mom?
Yeah. Oh, my dad and my mom were pretty strong personalities. My dad was in sales. He worked for American Express majority of my life growing up that I can remember. And then my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom, and then she worked for a retail store in UNT. So there's nobody, my grandma's got an education background. I don't really know my dad's side. A lot of them passed away before I was born. But my mom's side, yeah, nobody is, now that I think about it, there's nobody that's self-employed but me.
But I don't think...
and my Uncle Billy, he's self-employed now, but he didn't start out that way.
Yeah, and I don't think they have to be self-employed for you to, but I think that strong personality that you have helps because you can run things, you can run shit.
Right. And I just like to work by myself.
Yeah.
That's where,
you don't
I like to work for myself. I know where everything is, and there's I feel like it minimalizes the chaos and it keeps me more sane.
Had to have come from your dad and your mom. Sounds like, especially if your dad was a salesman.
Yeah.
What did he sell?
Well, he just worked credit card. He was in credit card processing sales. So back in the day, they would sell those credit card processors to restaurants and things like that. So remember back in the day, you'd have a swiper. Yeah. So he did those. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then my stepdad, he was a minister. So I really don't know where I get it. I don't know where the spirit comes from, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how did your childhood go? Where did you grow up at?
All over. So we moved around a lot, but I was born in Denton or Louisville, but we lived in Denton.
Flow Hospital?
No, Flow had been just, I think, decimated, and so we had to go to Medical City.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I went there, I was born, and then a few years later from there, we moved to Colorado, and then to Anaheim, California.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, lived out there for a few years. I went to Walt Disney Elementary in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Walt Disney Elementary.
Yeah.
That's where I went. That's first school.
Awesome.
Because we were right by Disneyland. And so I went there for kindergarten, then we came back to Carrollton, moved to Georgia, and then back to Denton.
Kind of sounds like Lauren. But
yeah, and I've been in Denton since, and then I lived in Fort Worth briefly, but I've pretty much been in Denton since I was about 14.
Yeah. And then went to Denton High School.
Yeah, I went to Denton High School.
Your senior year or no?
Freshman, second semester freshman.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In 1999, we moved back.
How did you like Denton and Denton High School? Did you like it?
Yeah, I think it was okay. Looking back, I know you said I was popular, but I didn't feel that way. So that's so funny you said that, because I really didn't ever feel that way. But I also was, pretty destructive back in high school. So, and it's just funny. I was like lecturing you about reputation and stuff like that, because I don't remember any of that. And I probably could have been
lecturing. It was more
maybe not
advice.
So hard on you.
No, it was advice.
Taking my own advice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all do that, right?
I really could have, but
we all could, take our own advice. But the fact that you did that and reached out the way you didn't do it in like a belittling way. It was like, hey, bud, just some advice, man. I think you should really think about. I think it was when me and baby mama were going through our
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, you know what? I kind of do vaguely remember that. And also because I think, stuff like that can always be used against you later
I
on.
mean, whatever the reason, it was good advice, you
Oh,
know?
good.
So your friends, I don't know a lot of your friends, but I've kind of met some here and there, and I'm kind of weird. I kind of sit back and I'm like, I understand why they're your friends. And maybe I don't fully, but to me, it's like you have this strong personality, and a lot of these women, I think, look up to that or they're attracted to it. And I feel like all you guys have at least something in common. Your friend group, do you agree with that? Like, do you think all your ladies have, like, I feel like you guys like to have fun and you guys are trying to battle through and be badass women. Like, all you guys have something in common. So, I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up and talk about your friend group.
Oh, yeah.
Does everybody, do you see similarities?
Oh,
with some
all
of the
my
girls?
friends are very strong. They all stand on their own, independently. Even if they're in a relationship or married, they still are just very, very solid.
Would you say
ladies.
that you're the mom of the group?
No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so at all. I would say no. I would say I'm not actually, and I'm honestly
Leader of the group?
and the youngest most of my friends. I'm actually the youngest.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't say I'm the leader either. I would say it kind of shifts, and sometimes I'm the planner and planning everything, and then sometimes it's somebody else. But yeah, I think we all the girls I've stayed friends with and maintained a good friendship with. Maybe we've had our ups and downs in the past, but all of us have grown, and we're very accountable people. And we like to talk about real raw stuff and what went wrong
Yes.
and talk things through.
Yeah.
And we've all just grown together. Like our lifestyles are even very similar now because we've just all kind of grown together
Yeah.
and grown up. And I feel like, the ones who don't usually fall off. But
Yeah.
I would say like there's room for everybody in my friend group for sure. And we all change roles.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, there's a lot of similarities from what I see. I know Casey, Chelsea. I don't know Chelsea that well, but just getting to know her through social media and your wedding. They all just seem like fun, but trying to like be a boss bitch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Casey, like, she's
She
great.
blows it out of the
Just
water.
they all seem mature women,
And they just continuously better themselves all the time. Like they're just always doing more to become better.
yeah.
I think
Like none of them
Chelsea-
seem like a piece of shit.
no, nobody's. Well, you can't stay around that long.
I know,
right?
but it's just funny to know you, and then just I kind of
You're
see from.
saying I'm a piece of shit.
No, what I'm saying, you're not.
Just fucking.
But like they all just seem like boss women, and I
Yes.
just think it's funny because we are all the sum of our friends. Like
Well, and we've come a long way, all of us. And I think growing up in Denton it's just a hard town to grow up in and not succumb to a lot of the things around us. A lot of bars, a lot of drinking. I will say these current generations growing up, they're just not as into alcohol, and I think that's so good.
Yeah.
Because it just, I know personally my life could have gone a much different way.
Yeah.
And you don't know till you know sometimes, So I also know keeping friends around you that are also on the same page and want to support your betterment. That's really, really important. And it's really important to just your stability all around. So, the girls around me, the women around me now are just people who have a lot of integrity. We all share the same value systems and we all let each other shine. So,
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, it's so if I look at my friends that like anybody that I'm like comfortable with, they all have some kind of addiction problem, like not problem, but they all like to drink.
Yeah.
Like all my friends. And if they don't, I can tell I'm like not as comfortable around them. But I sit back and I think about that, and it's like some of my friends that were in that, even from high school, like the friends I gravitated to, it was all the partying friends, and some of those people aren't even with us anymore.
I know.
And it's sad.
And it's crazy to see that it's crazy to see it almost a decade later, to be honest. The ones who didn't stop, and that's been the hardest thing to watch because our age now, it just becomes so apparent.
Yeah.
Whereas before, 10 years ago,
didn't.
you couldn't really tell. You could, but it just you couldn't really tell like you can tell now.
Yeah. Like it's just that 40-year-old mark where
Yeah.
if you are an alcoholic or I think a lot of people are alcoholics, but if you have a problem with alcohol or drugs or something, you're at that 40 years old, you just can't balance.
Hide it.
You can't hide it. And one thing I heard was you can't always be, and I wish I could say this exactly how I heard it, so I'm going to mess it up, but it was like you can't always live a life high, which sounds, of course you can't. But if you always are high, you will die. Like I heard that, and I'm like, you need a balance.
Right.
And I don't want, like, I love that you went sober, and you've been, how long has it been?
Well, I mean, it's been a journey, but I would say almost 8 years. I would say it's been almost 8 years. In September, I think it'll be about 8 years. So yeah.
That's tough, because even for me, I'm still not willing to cut it all the way out. And I've had issues with it. I've had issues to where, I always try to look back, sit back and think, okay, so where
No,
are
I
my,
scratched that. I was wrong. It's not 8 years.
well, you've been working on it for a long time.
Yeah, it's been 7. It'll be almost 7. So I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, like with alcohol with me, it's, I know, like I sit back and look, even in high school, I found it as a way to
Escape.
escape something, right? For me, it was social anxiety. I wasn't confident around groups of
And
people.
I'm not as social as I thought I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like since I quit drinking, I was like, I actually don't like that.
You don't like people.
I really don't like being around a bunch of people with a bunch of loud music. I like things soft.
Yeah.
I like more during the daylight, now.
Yeah.
I just like things that are gonna make me feel better tomorrow. Like that's
Yep.
what I choose. That's why I really love your gym. And I've gotten which has just been so cool to watch you just prosper in the last, 7 years, really.
It hasn't been perfect, but
No, but I mean, I've just watched it literally from the ground up, and you're like, you really worked from the ground up building this place. Like nobody helped you, you didn't have,
yeah.
you aren't a Nepo baby, you didn't have mommy and daddy helping you.
No, I didn't. But luckily, I've had the smarts to surround myself with people that I knew that were smarter than me in business.
Yes.
And that's one thing that has really helped me, like bringing Lauren into the business, like.
Oh, you can tell when Lauren came into the business.
Yeah.
Like it's apparent. It was like a huge shift before everyone's eyes.
Yeah.
And then things got way more online and professional, 'cause you you have your brain like me where you have to write everything down. Like I like the online world really kind of intimidates me. That kind of stuff. Like
It's always changing so fast.
oh my gosh, anything I knew how to do, it's hard. I don't really know how to do much
Yeah.
anymore. Like.
No,
Even the funnel system's changed since I was telling you about it. Mm-hmm.
And it hurts my head to think about it. But I'll get down. What I love doing is I'll write down on a piece of paper, like, okay, so what do I feel is going wrong? Or maybe not wrong, but that's a little negative in the business. And then I try to write solutions. I love doing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I may not be the right thing, but it allows me to kind of separate my emotions and just, okay, logically, how do I fix this?
Right.
And I love that because it's my baby. I can do anything I want. And if it fails, one thing I'm good at is if something bad happens, I always take responsibility.
Same.
And maybe sometimes it's hard for me to do that, but I always think later, even if like me and Lauren get in a fight and it's like, well, fuck, I probably shouldn't have did this or that. So I am good about that, and it kind of connects to business, and it has grown, and I know exactly where my weak points are. And I still battle it every day, whether it's my personal spending because it makes me feel good, my eating because it makes me feel good. Like it's all stuff that makes me feel good. Alcohol makes me not have to think about the chaos that I have in my life from business. So I'm okay with keeping some of that in there, but I have to fight it every day. It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's hard every day. It's like, not that I want to drink because I want to be drunk, but I want to drink because that's the only time I don't think about work.
Right. And I mean, that's in AA, they teach you like a bunch of different tools for that so that you don't go to those same habits.
Yep.
So
I went to AA just on my own. Like I was like, I need to experience this because I know I could be better, right? I went to AA a couple of years ago, randomly went, I told Lauren after I went, like I didn't say, hey babe, I'm gonna go to AA, please, think I'm cool. But I went in there and it was such a surreal experience to see how many other people deal with substance.
Yeah, and it's all walks of life.
Because-
you have like you have millionaires in there, and then you have people that are really hopeless and just trying to get off the streets. Like it's just a big mixed melting pot. There's no judgment.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it wasn't for that program, I don't know where I would have been. And really,
So it's helped you.
yeah, and then just having support from that, having people I knew in it already who were not willing to not give up on me, even though I was a pain in the ass at first. Like I still am kind of a know-it-all.
Yeah, you are who you are. You
I
gotta
know
embrace it.
everything, yeah, and I have to do things my way, and but it really taught me just how to pause and like really process my feelings and come out of things more rational and not just like running to escape in a bottle or escape in escape in something else, whatever else there is out there. Because you can do that with everything.
Yeah.
Food, like we were talking. You can even do it with exercise. You can exercise a little too much.
Yeah.
So,
Go to a gym. You're gonna find somebody in there who has a problem with or an addiction to the gym.
been there 3 times that day. Yeah.
And it's causing trouble with their marriage. Everything. I mean, look at everything as a balance.
Yeah.
And with alcohol, it's just. I feel like I have a good grip on it now, but I could still be a lot better. But when I went to that first AA meeting, it was like, okay, tell us who you are, tell us your name, and then you tell them your name, and they're just like, hi, David, and then they make you repeat, like, my name's David, and I think they make you say I'm an
I
alcoholic.
say, hey, y'all. I always say, hey, y'all. I'm Amanda. And I'm an alcoholic.
Yep, and I'm an alcoholic, and I've been sober.
You can say your little spiel. I still 2018.
Mine was I've been sober for 2 days, and everybody was like,
"That's a big deal, though."
Yeah.
It's that first month is probably the hardest.
Yeah.
Those first 30 days,
Yeah.
60 days, 90 days, like that first year. Within that first year, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was going like just straight no drinking for a whole year, and like that's all you knew.
Yeah.
Gosh, I cried a lot. And
Yeah.
I was going through so much during that time. So it was just a lot.
And it's like you got to find a different way to cope, and sometimes that's a fucking lifestyle change, man. That's not easy to do.
I had no friend. I mean, I had to get rid of like pretty much a lot of my friends too. People, places, things. Like I really had to completely change it. Like Denton's a whole new town for me.
Yeah.
And you can't go back to the same hot spots you used to go.
But that's so awesome that like the only strong people can do that. And people who haven't had a problem with substance like that, and then they look and they say, well, it's hard for me. Well, fuck you. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. And I'm sure they struggle in something else.
Well, I've got it on both. I've got it generational. I mean, it's on both sides. Like there's just tons of us that in my family don't drink anymore. It's just a big choice.
Genetics, man.
Yeah, genetics. I mean, my dad's side's all dead from it. That's how they all died. A lot of them was the drinking and not stopping, and it killed them young.
Yeah, my mom, I mean, she's battled it her whole life. She still can't take care of herself today. I love my mom, but she can't take care of herself. And
is that from alcohol?
it wasn't alcohol. It was pretty much everything but alcohol.
Okay.
Pills, hardcore drugs.
Pills are so hard because a lot of times it's just like not their fault. Like a lot of the I would say when things got to get really hairy for me and I didn't even know it was when I got on a bunch of prescription medications through my doctor. Yeah. And so I feel like, well, my doctor's prescribing it, so it's fine. And I'm just taking something as prescribed. And I don't think people really fully grasp, the side effects that come with some of this stuff, and that there's like long-term withdrawal. Yeah. And some of this stuff is like harder to get off of than heroin that your doctors are giving you. Yeah. And then now we've got the whole, fentanyl epidemic. Yeah. And a lot of that started from, opioids in the opioid crisis. And all those people were prescribed opioids from their doctors. And so it's just like a really gray area, real easy to get off track with.
Yeah, so. No, it's tough, and it's like prescription medication. It's like you said, you think it's fine, but then if you have it genetically in your genes, like it reacts differently for us.
For everybody.
Yeah. Well, for everybody, but
women are
especially
worse.
somebody who has it in their family.
Well, and women are so much worse.
Are they?
Alcohol affects women like 100% worse more than men. So
wow.
that's why when you see a woman that's an alcoholic, she's like terrible alcoholic.
Really?
Well, you know, they
Wonder
just
why that is.
fall because our bodies, women, it poisons us faster, quicker.
Yeah.
We need smaller amounts.
Metabolisms.
And then, you know, a lot of times, often women are trying to like keep up with their husbands who drink. And men, there's so many men that can have like so many beers and doesn't even faze them. But if a woman, that's going to kill her, or she drinks the equivalent to that, you know? So y'all just process it differently.
Yeah.
And so, women, alcoholics are actually worse than men. We're the worst. And we die from it quicker. We develop horrible diseases from it quicker. And we're just more susceptible to those diseases than men too. So we just got to be so much more careful.
Yeah.
And a lot of those prescriptions, you know, that were being prescribed as women, I found out that they're actually made for men. So like the dosage that we're being prescribed is actually a male dosage, the equivalent to it for a male.
Oh, wow.
But that's why women have so many more side effects to pharmaceuticals too.
Wow. I didn't know all that stuff.
There's just no money in women's health care, unfortunately.
That
So
sucks, man. So, what about the time you ran for city council? Because I know like people have said that, oh, you should get into politics. I'm like, fuck that. So, but it needs to be like those positions are important, right? Like somebody
people
has
who
to
tell
do it.
you to run for city council are people that have usually an agenda and they don't want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the same people that were telling me I should run and I'd be great, oh my gosh, and just kind of feeding my ego to run, all had an agenda. And when I went off script and I was like, no, I'm nonpartisan. I'm not going to be appealing to just you because you're this or you because you're that. I'm going to listen to everybody. And it was like those same kind of people like turned on me really quick. So I loved the fact that I did it.
Good.
Because it's something that not everybody can do. And it was traumatic.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what I was doing. And it taught me that like really sometimes it's hard to make change at any level, even the local one, because a lot of things are just, you know, already decided. But I also learned that there is a lot of change you can do at a local level that you can't do at a state or national level.
Yeah.
And I just like it because it takes it back to the needs and the infrastructure of the people, and it doesn't make it like a political statement. Like we're talking about roads here, you know? So, and tree ordinances and, you know, protection of wildlife and stuff like that. So I just, I don't regret it, but it was something that like I don't really recommend unless you're completely prepared to be a politician, because I wasn't a good one.
Yeah.
Somebody called me a reporter's wet dream because I was just literally so out there, you know, just I said whatever I thought and I called people out, and
I love that.
but a lot of those, when you call people out, and especially in a public forum like that, especially online, people go looking for a reason to call you a piece of shit, you know, and they'll find it. They will.
Yeah.
Or they'll create it. You know, when I ran for city council, we were in a long time lawsuit with my landlord, and I was evicted from that home, even though my landlord had already been deemed illegally operating. He'd already was being sued by code enforcement. He wasn't even supposed to be renting that space out. And it's funny, the guy that actually sits as a representative of my district now was the justice of the peace that evicted me when he found my landlord told him I was running for city council, and he evicted me. And then my lawyer, who was running for judge, was having all his cases appealed back to him. They weren't getting taken seriously, so my appeal was rejected. And I mean, this man had 2-foot gaping holes in the ceiling that water was pouring through. We were completely paid up, but he wanted a rent increase. And I said, absolutely not until these things are fixed. And there was just a bunch of stuff. I mean, oh my gosh. But that right there, I know I wouldn't have been evicted if I hadn't been running for city council, because the law would have been on my side.
It's
and
so wrong.
my lawyer wouldn't have been running. If my lawyer hadn't been running for a position, it would have been appealed. Like it worked. The entire system worked against me while I was running for city council. And it was hard not to get paranoid and feel like everybody's out to get you, you know.
When they are.
They were.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I still haven't seen anything like to that degree. And I was just I was a very small district that not even 3,000 people showed up to vote in, which is crazy with how many people are in Denton and how loud it seemed. Yeah. It was like people who couldn't even vote for me were like just gunning for me. And it was people who considered my side too. Like, it was just a very crazy time, and there was no way to navigate it. And I feel like I was doing it in a way that nobody had ever really done it before, you know.
Hey,
I didn't take any
pioneer, man.
Didn't take any money from businesses. I was very grassroots, all, you know, personal donations.
It's an experience, even if it was a bad experience, like overall for you, like it's an experience. And like I said before, like someone has to do it, and anybody that does do it, that there's no way to live a good life, because you're going to piss somebody off. Because you got to choose one way or the other. You got to choose things that you push for, and it's always going to, because it affects people's lives, whether it's like transgender stuff, if it's trees planted on the fucking lawn, like whatever, like it's going to affect or piss somebody off. So then you're put under a microscope, and it's like the people look, because they're passionate about what they want. They're like, she's pretty, she ain't. No, she's only...
and if you're attractive at all, like, it's worse. Because I just had a friend that ran in not this last election cycle, but the cycle before that. And I call it, it's funny, I call it the fucker fight. They either want to fight you or have sex with you, like that. And I saw it happen with her. It was like these guys that like clearly wanted to like get with her were just like saying the most nasty stuff about her, to her. I mean, she was like literally triggering people in their like skin. It was crazy. And the way people treated her, like I would bring her, we honestly trauma bonded together, because I hadn't seen it be like that since my, you know, run.
Was it someone who just ran?
It was the last election cycle that she ran. Yeah. And it's typically a lot of men that are really disgusting in that political arena, but sometimes it's women too. Yeah. And so I didn't care what side she was on. I seeked her out because I was like, I liked what she had to say. I thought she was for the people, and she was a single mom for a long time, raising 4 boys. So like she understood that struggle and what it meant to come up, and so and work hard. And me and her became really good friends, and it was just really interesting because like she just was such a normal person, and everyone just wanted to make her into this like big bad wolf. Yeah. And they just were like nasty. There's just a lot of nasty people out there.
Well, humans are fucking animals.
Especially when they think that they're anonymous, you know, in those kind of forums. The things those incels say is crazy. Like, it's just...
But, I mean, if you think about that's humans. Yeah. Like, it is civilized as we try to be.
But those same humans never have the balls to ever run for office.
No, because that's how it goes.
Or start a business.
That's how it goes.
And I always laugh. I'm like, you probably have streaks in your underwear because you aren't wiping properly, but yet you're critical about what I'm doing with my life. It's just really weird.
But if you look, like, you have to give yourself a lot of credit for the things you've done, even if they didn't turn out how you wanted them to do. And I'm serious about that, because humans, like, you look back in the day when we had tribes and stuff, and it's like you have all these people that just yell and emotional, because we're emotional creatures, right? Not always logical. And then we have the people that try to step up. And because they feel a certain way, they're emotional too, but they're thinking, hey, I need to push for this or that. And these people, the animals, will just mow them down.
Yeah,
man.
they will. Oh, yeah. Well, and they look, animals, they'll also like mow down the weakest link too. Something they see as vulnerable.
We are animals. Like, look at what happened in the protests. Like when...
Which ones?
Let's look at any protest, but let's look at during the pandemic when nobody had shit to do, so they protest. And don't get me wrong, there's some, things that happen that I can understand why there's protests, but let's just look at that time and how, if you like take your point of view and then just zoom out and look, people were animals. They're just throwing stuff, yelling, and you just want to be a part of a movement, right? We're fucking animals. And just killing people. I mean, there's people that were killed, the buildings burned down, everything. And it was several different topics. It wasn't just one. George Floyd, police, a bunch of different things. If somebody died, and even today, if a police officer kills a black person or, something controversial like that, you're going to have a protest no matter what. It's almost automatically. Not saying that that's not a good thing in certain instances, but just take a step back. We're animalistic creatures.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
we just
and then
gather together and just fucking tear shit down and not even think.
Well,
you
and the
know?
same can be said for, those who get stuck in the military and things like that. When we go to war, and I'm sure it's a lot of carnage. And
Yeah.
when a lot of those veterans come back, they are, they struggle real bad because their brains have basically just been rewired to kill, like, and it's a lot. It's not that hard to do to somebody, it's just routine, consistent, like indoctrination. And then, they struggle. A lot of them struggle for the rest of their lives. And then we're just not very good as a country for mental illness. So.
And then you have, these political forces sending these guys off just to, I think it's
just to make money for the rebuild,
to make money. And I think just because we have to, and I always look at, if you look at back in the day, humans, we used to reproduce more, right? Like in the world, I believe we reproduced more. And today, the birth rates have dropped.
Well, there's just so much infertility.
Yeah, but back in the day, we died a lot more quicker.
We died quicker, yeah.
With wars and natural disasters. And I've always thought this was interesting. It's like, just like you need to live for balance, right? The earth almost kind of balances us out. It's almost like we go to war just automatically. It's in our DNA to kind of kill ourselves and keep that population. Think of the time when we can, because it's coming, that we're going to be able to control the weather. We already have better warnings, like,
Don't we already do that?
I mean, to an extent, but one day we're going to be able to control everything. We'll know when tornadoes are going to happen. We'll be able to control the weather.
There was something called like cloud.
I don't know, but I'm sure one day if it has
cloud seeding.
Yeah.
Is that a thing, or is that just
conspiracy theory?
Conspiracy theory. Did I get from the Tiki Talk?
But I mean, the reality is we are living longer, and we are, finding ways to, humans to live.
Well,
longer.
we just have so much chemicals in everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything is just.
But my question is, if we control the weather and we aren't killing each other as much, and we're becoming more civilized, at what point do we reproduce too much to where there's too many people, right? But now, if you look at it, birth rates are dropping. So I think it's funny how it just almost automatically balances.
Yeah,
it's weird. I still think it's weird that we don't know where we came from.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you ask,
I know you're like super into the alien stuff, and I am too. So like, I still think that that's always a possibility.
Yeah. Well, are you super religious?
I don't know. I love Jesus. I love God. I still read like the Bible and Testament, and there's a lot with that with AA, but I don't go to church, and I'm not like
Bible thumper.
But I still see a lot of spirituality in it too. So I'm just kind of I don't know. I do go to church if if there's Christmas or Easter, but
yeah.
No, not super religious, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I am. Like, I don't shit on it. Like,
Still I love Jesus and I pray, but
but so
God,
people either think, God put us all here, or, you got the scientists that think evolution and the Big Bang and all that. But no matter what way, like, we still don't know for sure.
I still think dinosaurs were birds. They had big giant wings, and that all just disintegrated, and we were stuck with the bones. But they are all built like birds.
Yeah.
Like if you look at an ostrich or an emu, it's just like a giant T-Rex. It's just a little baby miniature T-Rex, pretty much.
It is.
We don't know that they didn't have feathers. We don't know.
Yeah.
Because the feathers would
I
have
don't think we're
disintegrated.
supposed to know. But I just find it so interesting that nobody knows for sure where we came from. And then how we made that big leap. Like, the evolution will say that we came from monkeys and
cavemen.
And then, because we're on the land, we developed like, skill and all that stuff. But nobody can really understand how our brains developed the way it did. And
I just think a lot of that was destroyed.
It could be.
I think so.
But I just find it so fascinating.
By the Catholic Church. No, I'm just kidding.
We can get into a bunch of conspiracy theories. But
I do think a lot of that stuff is destroyed, rewritten by, controlling oppositional government of some sort at some point in time. But I just don't. At this point, everything we were taught in elementary school, we've now been taught was like BS. I mean, we just sing Christopher Columbus sails the seven seas, and it was like he was just like this huge, just warpath genocidal maniac. And he wasn't even the one that discovered the Americas. It's just that the Pilgrims and the Indian or Native Americans, because things just continuously have changed.
Yeah.
So it's just really
hard.
Who
do you trust?
Who do you trust? Because at that point, if you're telling me all this stuff isn't that you taught me in school is not true, why am I not allowed to question it?
Yeah.
Why am I not allowed to question what's being forced to me now? I always try to read different news facets. I do if I'm going to read the news, I'm going to read everybody. You know.
But no, I think that's good. I think you need to question it. I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. Now, I like to talk about aliens because I always look at things as a good possibility because I don't know. But
I really think you can talk to aliens.
I'm sure you can.
And there's this whole thing. I think I sent it to Stephen Greer's CG5. It's on Amazon. You really need to watch it. Oh, you don't like him?
It's just he's too far over the ledge, man.
But he's got good proof.
He does.
He cry. But he got good proof.
Look, I don't jump on everybody's bandwagon, man. And
I was on this bandwagon years ago. No. He just kind of got popular, and I already knew about him.
He's getting more popular.
Since 2018. And anyway, I had a girlfriend that did what she said, and she sent me pictures or videos of, I swear to God, spaceships, like in her backyard.
I love it.
And she had a bunch of people come over, and they did their little meditational ceremony to bring in the aliens, and 2 spaceships came in and made contact with them. So,
hey, man, this isn't even for clicks. This is real life.
This is real life, and I have the videos to prove it.
I'm
gonna show them to you after.
You better.
Maybe you can even put them on the podcast at the end, but. I just think it's ignorant to think we're the only ones out there. The world is too big. The universe is too big. We're part of how many, systems or planetary systems?
Yeah.
So many. There's just so many universes.
And what we're finding out about gravity and how it
again, all lies we were taught in school. Lies.
Yeah, no. But Bob Lazar's story, I already talked about this.
Who's Bob?
Bob Lazar. You haven't heard about him? So he was a scientist working at Los Alamos Labs back in 1989.
What's his last name?
Bob Lazar.
Oh, I've heard of him.
He's a whistleblower that came out. So he was one of the first ones. And it's been one of the stories that I've believed to be true to the most part. Like, you never know, but if he's lying, he's like the world's best liar. And I'm going to send you some videos on him. But he basically got recruited to work out in Area 51. So he was the reason why Area 51.
This is sounding vaguely.
Now, he didn't work at Area 51, but it was a satellite place close to it. And he explains everything that happened. And then people question him. And he's like, if I was lying, I'd make a better fucking story. He didn't see live aliens, but he had hands on the tech that they recovered from, evidently.
Have you been to Roswell?
Well, I don't know if it was from that.
Have you been there though?
No.
You should go. You would have fun. There's a big museum there with lots of proof that they made contact with aliens. So.
Yeah, but he was recruited, didn't know that he was going to be working on this stuff. They said it was some advanced technology out in the desert. He goes out there, they make him sign his rights away. Hey, what you're going to be working on is top secret. If you tell anybody, you can go to jail for 10 years. You can be in prison, blah, blah, blah. That's not out of the ordinary. They did that with the atomic bomb stuff. He signs it away, and then all of a sudden they start giving him these briefing documents, and they start talking about alien spaceships, and he's just like, the fuck is this? He thought maybe they were going to test him, didn't think he was actually going to work on stuff. And then they walk him into a hangar door the 3rd or 4th day that he was there, and there's an alien spaceship sitting there with an American flag on it. So then he immediately thought, hey, this is U.S.'s secret spacecraft. It's not really alien. It's people think the UFOs are aliens, but it's really the American military. So he walks past it, and then things just start clicking. They take him to this the power source of it because they want to get his brain in there to figure out how they can duplicate another reactor that they found in the spacecraft. He tries to touch it, it pushes his hands away, and he explains how it was small and it looked really weird. And then they let him get in the spacecraft. And he just explains it. If you watch it,
I'll have to check that out after I
if someone's lying, you just have to watch him.
Yeah.
And I've even watched a video where
well, I don't think anybody's lying. I mean, look at Diddy. Everybody was like so. I mean, he was running everything. When we thought of Diddy, we were like, that guy's so awesome and he's so wholesome and this and this and that. And like now, look what we found out in the last couple of years.
everybody's starting to come up with stories.
It's a ring, and people all these people are a part of it, and it's not anything we thought it was. It's like terrible. It's like terrible, grotesque stuff happening. And this whole time, we all thought that was shiny and cool. Like we idolized a lot of these people growing up. So, like I said,
It's Hollywood. It's like a big, just fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
I wonder why that is.
Because when you have a lot of money, because I have a family member that works in that kind of industry, and a lot of the things he's worked on, it just seems to be like a lot of crazy rich people acting out their fantasies. So it's like when you see a movie that's got a lot of money poured into it, somebody paid for that wanted that made, and you have to bend a lot of time in the direction of that person who's over, and it's a lot of their weird shit they want you to do. Like he was telling me some weird stuff on one of the things he worked on, and I was like, that is I don't even know if I don't know if I could say it on here, but like one of the EPs of something he worked on was just like wanted to be raped. Like she just did. So she like wrote it in. They filmed it for days, and then it was never in the movie.
Oh wow!
But she just wanted to be a rape victim in the movie, and made everybody watch this go on for 3 days.
Oh my gosh!
Over and over again, he said. Just all of a sudden, she wrote it. She's like, "We're writing this in."
This is the stuff people don't see,
right? And like no one would ever know that. So it's just.
So it's like screwed up people, like regular screwed up people.
People who have all that kind of money are screwed up, and you're just basically at the will of their fantasy and what they want you to do. And so that's why they like the children, young actors, and the Britney Spears and Justin Bieber's when they're little, because they're so impressionable, they're vulnerable, they've got really shitty parents that just like throw them to the wolves and no protections.
It's interesting to think about that. What do you think about Britney Spears?
I love her so much, but she just makes me so sad. She had a horrible team around her from the start. Her family just sucked her dry and took advantage of her. And I just think it's very ironic that her manager, Lou Taylor, is also Justin Bieber's manager, and he's fallen off crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And, they're also involved with Diddy and the Kardashians. That lady is. So,
But what about, do you think she should have gotten that what is it?
The conservatorship?
Yeah, that.
Personally, think that if they had she just wanted to be left alone about 20 years ago when she had those babies.
Yeah.
When she had her babies.
But my argument with Lauren was there had to have been a reason it was put there.
Well, there's a whole documentary about it. The reason why it was put there is because she was crazy, that they had made her crazy, but they were doing all these things in the background to make her act like that. So, like she was only allowed to see her kids if she worked so many hours. Like her dad used her children as leverage against her, and he ran her life. And then it's really easy to be put in a conservatorship because they're finding like a lot of that super corrupt too. So they're paying the judges off, and they're paying an attorney to represent, and they get paid off. So like the people that benefited the most from Britney Spears was like these attorneys and like an attorney judge and like Lou Taylor, I think, if I remember correctly. But I just think that we should have left her alone. She didn't want to be famous anymore 15, 18 years ago. She didn't want to be famous anymore. Like she was telling us that. And she just wanted to get married and live her life and be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. Yeah. And I think that once you are in that lifestyle and people depend on you and you got a team that's depending on you to pay them, you can't leave. They won't let you.
Yeah. Yeah. And now do you see her on Instagram?
Yeah. And she just spun out. But do you remember she went crazy that one time and shaved her head and all that. And then she came back and she was like, and like all of a sudden, like Stepford wife, performing like crazy. She had a Vegas residency and then just walked off.
Yeah.
And I heard they gave her substantial amounts of lithium that would just make
really?
anybody crazy. Yeah.
Golly. So it was just all the pressure, everything, how she was pushed into the spotlight, treated, and then now they take that conservatorship away, and she's can't even handle it.
I still think she's being controlled. I think that taking that conservatorship away is still BS. I think there's a lot of people who still putting their hand in the cookie jar controlling what's going on.
Yeah, because I mean, it looks like she's doing drugs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's probably smoking
Never
meth.
done meth, but it looks like.
Yeah, and I think her son's smoking meth with her too, you know? But once the child support stopped, that little one came to find her.
Really?
I think they're just doing drugs together.
Sad.
It's so sad.
So where was it? You went to France or Paris?
I just got back from the UK, Wimbledon.
Have you
Wimbledon.
been? Was that the first time you went over there?
That's the first time I've been to Europe, yeah.
Do you like it?
I loved it. It was wonderful.
What's your favorite travel spot?
I've really only been there in like Jamaica and Mexico. So I would say out of the country, I don't know, that's hard. Jamaica was really good.
Why was it so good? Lauren wants to go there.
Jamaica?
Yeah.
Just the food, the water. It's not too hot either. And the food was really good. I liked the culture too and the people there.
I like going and doing things. I don't know if that's what you.
Yeah, I'm not a big excursion person when we go on vacation, especially in another country. They scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like they aren't regulated and always.
Especially like Jamaica.
Somebody always gets hurt every day. Like there's always like 3 or 4 people that are like badly injured. My mom almost died on one, so I just don't go on those.
Yeah.
My husband knows that about me. I'm like, sorry, not going zip lining.
You won't go zip line?
No, I'm
won't
not
go
going on a zip line.
I won't do a hot air balloon.
You get hurt in a foreign country on an excursion, and they're just gonna like hide you in the woods, throw you to a leopard or something. They are not. You're not getting good care.
Yeah. Helicopters.
Nope, none of that's happening.
No, man. I don't do that.
And they won't take responsibility. Like you sign your life away. But I remember when we got back from the excursion and we were in Mexico, these people got back from the excursion that we had made friends with. And this girl had 2 like giant, it looked like somebody had just like punched her in the butt, but they were like bruises, dark, already just like bad. And I'm like, what happened to you? She was in a bathing suit. Yeah. She's like, oh, my seat flew off my ATV. And I was like, ow. She's like, yeah, I thought I broke my tailbone, but it was like, girl, it looked so painful. And I was like, see what I mean? I looked at my husband, I was like, see? Not going on excursions.
That's funny. What did you do in the UK?
So I went to a mesh integration training out there. That was really good. It was this woman named Kelly Maxwell. I've been following for a few years. And she just has kind of changed the game with education, with extensions and hair restoration. Yeah. So I went there to basically learn how to give women their life back if they've lost their hair to alopecia or, pattern baldness. Yeah. I can give you basically a whole head of hair that you can wear. Let it go, David. Let it go. Let it go.
I have. I'm done with it.
Don't hold it back anymore.
You don't want me to start singing. But how long were you out there?
I was out there over a week.
Damn.
Yeah, it was awesome.
How was the travel?
So there was terrible. I actually upgraded on the way home because I was just very uncomfortable. It was 9.5 hours. On the way there, I did Main Plus. Yeah. And then on the way back, I did business. I was fancy.
So when me and Aaron, did you meet Aaron?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When we went to Thailand, we did just regular economy. Like, it was a whole day.
And then you went home that way too?
Yes.
No.
So on the way home, we had back-to-back flights. So I think we had like 45 minutes in a layover before so we went from Bangkok to Istanbul, and then from Istanbul, 45-minute layover to DFW. So from Bangkok to Istanbul is like 11 and a half hours, and then 13 hours from Istanbul to DFW.
No, and I don't want to visit Thailand that bad.
We were on the way. We were trying to hurry in a line to go to the other gate across Istanbul, the airport. And halfway through, Aaron's like reaching in his pocket, and he's like, I think I left my passport in my seat. And we only had 45 minutes. We're going to DFW.
Yeah.
And so he had to go back, and I was in line waiting to board. Luckily, it was delayed a little bit.
Oh, good.
Right before I walked into the terminal, he came running, barely made it. He would have had to.
He did leave it though, huh?
He did leave it, and then he made it the flight, but he would have had to wait. And so my car was at his house, so if I would have left, and I would have had to fucking just wait, and we were in his car. I mean, it would have been a big
to do.
Yeah, 13 hours. And maybe the next flight could have been the next day. It would have been bad, but the travel was terrible. Like just sitting there for that fucking.
Oh yeah, and then the jet lag.
Oh, dude,
I felt bad for 3 days when I got there.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got there early because I had a feeling. I've never flown that long, but I had a feeling I might feel like shit. I'm pretty in tuned. I know I'm kind of sensitive. I'm a big baby, and so I was like, I'm gonna go about 3 days early.
Yeah.
So I got there, thank goodness, 3 days early. So by the time I did get to class, I still felt like shit. But I finally got like a little medicine, like a little anti-nausea medicine and ZQuil in my system, and I was right as rain. And then when I got back, the time shift back is not as bad. It's forward that's really hard because it's just basically a whole day.
Yeah, and when we went there, I remember I fell asleep. So I don't sleep very easily. Like I'm a light sleeper. I'll wake up. It's hard for me to sleep on a plane.
Yeah.
And you have to though, because we're going overnight. Like you have to sleep.
Yeah, and I didn't sleep on the way there. I kept getting woken up because I paid for extra leg room.
Yeah.
And the person next to me took it, and they took all the extra room in my seat. So I was like this for 9 hours in my seat.
So it was 9 hours?
9.5 the way there. We got there early on the way back. I think it was only 8 hours and 45 minutes on the way back, but it was 9.5 on the way there. And every time I try to sleep, somebody hit me. And I was just like, ugh. And I was like, finally got up and I was like, I don't mean to be a pain, but is there anywhere else you can move me, please? They were like, it's a full flight. Sorry.
See, that's how it was when we went to Thailand, and I finally fell asleep on the way to Thailand, and because I'd taken like a Benadryl and whatever, so I finally fell asleep, and I woke up with anxiety, like my heart racing, and the flight was rocky. I think we're hitting some turbulence. And then I look on the screen because it shows the radar where the plane is and where you're flying over. We're flying over Iran. And so first of all, it was Afghanistan. We're flying over Afghanistan, and we have turbulence, and then they blacked out the window so you can't see out. So I can't see where we're at. I mistook the feet for, I think it was not feet, but it was kilometers. I don't know. Might have said something stupid there, but I'm mistaken the distance from the ground, and I thought we're at like 8,000 feet, and we had that. I was panicking. I'm like, we're gonna fucking crash in Afghanistan, but in reality, everything was fine. That's normal, but it was miserable to get there. And then the first 4 days, I was depressed. Yeah, because I knew my lifestyle was completely changed. I was away from my business, away from my family. For the first 4 days, I felt depressed.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, holy shit,
and then I was fine. But I did. Yeah.
It took 4 days.
It took a while. I felt sad and sick to my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah. And then and
I was like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Why did I do that? Now I'm all the way over here by myself.
Yeah, because kids are at the house, your husband.
I felt the same way.
But it's
important to get out of your comfort zone and get out of the United States of America.
Yes, it was the most magical. I remember talking to Aaron. I'm like, I don't know if I should fucking keep having my phone out and record or witness it for myself. I was just
always witness it for yourself.
Of course, but it was so there were so many magical moments. But the reality was, I was depressed for a lot of it, and I have irritable bowel syndrome, so I had to go to the bathroom every fucking day. And they don't have good bathrooms there. I was just looking for some fucking chicken nuggets, and all they have is all this Thai food. And I found a 7-Eleven because 7-Eleven's big there. And I go in there looking for some fucking chips, and they're all this weird Thai chips. I found Cheetos, and I opened the Cheetos. It was fucking pomegranate Cheetos. It was like the weirdest shit.
Yeah, I ate minestrone soup for 3 days. Like, I just didn't feel good.
So it was miserable, but it was magical.
It was awesome. Yep, that's how I felt. Miserable at first, but it was magical. And then when I got the hang of things, I was like, okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm supposed to be here for this and experiencing this and getting the heck out of my, like I said, get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. And so when I went, Thailand, I went to Costa Rica. Those were my two big spots. When I went to Thailand, it's almost like getting a tattoo. Like, it fucking sucks when you're getting it, but then talking about it is awesome. Like, I want to get another tattoo. I want to go back to Thailand. Thailand, if anybody has a chance to go there, you have to go.
Well, after watching White Lotus, yes, but you're telling me it's 20 hours.
Everything else is shitty, but
I think I'm going to just have to get the first class ticket there.
Yes. Once you can afford that, because I can't fucking afford that. But when you get there, everything's cheap. You could take an Uber. It's called, I think it's called like Shuttle or something.
That's what
like
you were
that.
saying. Everything was like real cheap once you got there.
$2.50 to go all the way across town in a Uber.
Sorry.
And then every place that you eat, $2.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fuck yeah, $1.50. And then you go shopping there. I bought a suit for $500.
Everything's really clean too in Europe. Like, when I could eat a lot more there than I can here. And not get didn't get my stomach upset there.
Oh, really?
Because they're just real conscious about what goes into everything.
Yeah, I've never been to Europe.
It's more, it is more of an updated country, so there were bathrooms, and it's a very posh area, but for what we pay here, like, you could be posh there. Like, for what we pay in America for crap, in UK, London, you get better everything, you know? So you're, like, technically richer in London.
So you enjoyed it?
I did. I liked it. Everybody has really good manners.
And
everybody's
you would go
very
back?
considerate. Yeah. I'm probably going to go back for training with that lady again.
You gonna take Jared this time?
Maybe. Yeah, he wants to go. I wanted to take him, but he started a new job at a new place and he couldn't get the time off. And he really wanted me to just go and because I had been talking about this class for a while. It's been a goal of mine. So
I love that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go. Honestly, for the better part, I would say for a year, I've been talking about going to this class. I'm like, when she launches her class, I was like number 3 to buy my spot. I mean, and they sold out quick. Yeah. The spots were gone in like 10 days, I think.
Oh, wow.
She offered him back in, I think it was like February or March.
Oh, damn.
And then they were gone.
So when I went to Thailand, I asked Lauren, first of all, it was a mistake. Don't ever ask if you can go do it, okay? And you just need to know not to do it without your spouse, right? I didn't know that. I was like, hey, do you mind if I go to Thailand? She's like, yeah, sure. I shouldn't have fucking did that. Because when I got there halfway through, I sent her to her parents with Gage to go to Colorado. It was around Thanksgiving. When she got back, she started to get a little anxious because I'm not there to help her at the business, not here to help her with kids. And I get it. But yeah, I've learned. I know I'm going to fucking take Lauren if I ever get.
I was like, why are you letting him go to Thailand? Is he a passport bro now? Or?
I mean, it was one of those so Aaron doesn't have a girlfriend.
Right.
He had one for 5 years.
And he's got no kids, right?
He's got no kids.
Yeah,
and so now he's at a point in his life where he can travel, but he has no one to go with. And so he just randomly asked me to go to fucking Europe. And I'm like, no, dude, no. And it just happened. He asked me to go to Thailand, and I had a little bit of money in my savings that I had more than I normally do. And I was just like, how much are tickets? And he told me, and I'm like, fuck it. Let's do it. Because he was like, once you get there, it's cheap.
Yeah, you can't do that now because you're married.
Well, I learned. I'm like,
I know she's like, I'm so happy for him to go. And then you were gone. She was like, he needs to get his ass back right now.
I get it. And
There's too much going on here.
Yeah. And we're on an island with Aaron, and it was like romantic. And Aaron's
like,
right there. I'm like, Aaron, what the fuck did you book for us? It was like one of those like dreamy beds, outlooks the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
And I'm like calling Lauren. I'm like, babe, I wish you were here. Yeah. She's like, fuck you.
This is a romantic getaway with Aaron. Yeah. Sorry, Lauren.
I'll learn. But
you learned.
It was great.
That was a while ago. You've come a long way.
I'm trying, man. It's hard.
Trust me. I just keep doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing's hard.
Every day.
It's hard.
Why is this hard?
No, I mean it's beautiful. I love with Lauren. It's like I know, like I knew, just because I mean, I got closer with my dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
I've never fucking known my dad's side
Yeah.
of the family. Got closer with my best friends like Corey and Jess, and just everybody.
Yeah, I love
Even
them.
you coming into that, like she just makes everybody gravitate.
Well, we have you to thank. You're the one that was like, y'all were needing me. Y'all are very much alike. And then
Yeah.
we met. It was just very instant. Like
Yeah.
we just very much on the same level, and that's why I just really enjoy being around both y'all.
No,
'cause we can all relate.
I'm smart enough to understand the things I have to do, and then I just see life getting a little bit easier. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, but that's one thing I love. I want that balance. I want to be a little rough.
too, yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to have a little fun, and then I want to focus on family.
Correct.
I want to say in business. But okay, I know I've taken a lot of your time.
Well, that was awesome. I can't believe. I mean, we went almost 2 hours.
I know we're about to be Joe Rogan on the. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't want to be Joe Rogan, Dave.
Yeah, no. Well,
We want to be David Mana.
Yeah, right. We'll just stick with 5 followers. That's fine. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And
I'll share some.
there we go. You got them clicks. But I appreciate everything. You coming all the way over here.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
love
Thanks
you.
for asking. I love you guys so much.
Yeah.
And
And then we'll see you in the gym, right?
absolutely,
Awesome.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you
Thanks,
so
David.
much.
Thank you.